Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not just blowing smoke. That's something I don't like to blow smoke. I don't like to be dramatic, over, under. I like to be a straight shooter because when I say something, I want it to mean something. And I truly know in my heart, Canelo is someone that I'll get my hand raised when I fight.
Hi, this is Joe Cortez. You're watching ShowBizz, The Adult.
Oh, this is Bernard Hopkins, ShowBizz, The Adult. I'm out.
What's up, my people? This is ShowBizz, The Adult. All right, man, look at who we have here today. Super middleweight IBF champion Caleb Sweet Hands Plant. What's going on with you, brother?
Man, everything's good. Appreciate you for having me on.
Man, no, I appreciate you for coming, man. I know you're a busy man. I see you laying your hands down all the time. So yeah. I know you staying busy out there.
Yeah, been busy, been in the gym, in the weight room, and got some good things going on outside the ring too. So it's been good.
Man, I'm happy to hear that positivity, man, that you living. That's good, brother. I mean, 2020 has been crazy. So to hear some positivity coming from somebody, maybe everybody else can feed off of it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
Yeah. So look, I'm gonna have to share this with you, brother. I'm gonna have to share this with you. I made a video where I said, looking at your skills, and we could talk about your skills and your talent and everything that you possess in a minute. But I'm looking at you. I'm looking at your timing, looking at your rare footwork. I'm looking at things that can't be taught. I'm looking at power, accuracy, not just your fights, but how you go into your sparring, go into your conditioning. And I look at your mentality, your aggressiveness, all those things that make up a fighter. And I look at you and I say, hey, this guy can be a future GOAT. I get a response from people as if I'm an idiot saying, ShowBizz, The Adult, I thought you were smarter than this. He is no GOAT. Look at what he's done. Look at his resume. And I'm like, wait a minute. I say he's a GOAT in the making, a future GOAT. What's going on with people not being able to hear what you're saying and turning it into something else? I saw you did a video on your Instagram where you were talking about disrespect, and people saw it as, wait, I can't criticize, I can't give my own opinion. Can you talk about this, Caleb Plant, please?
Man, that's just the power of social media, really. You can specify as much as you want, and somehow, the people will turn your words and twist it into, instead of looking at everything you said, they'll turn it into everything you didn't say. So I don't know what it is. Like you said, I specified even in that post, and I'm sure you did. I seen your video, you was real specific in that, but, people just are so just wound up in their own opinion, that they want to give it, even if it is, not under the same subject. I don't know what it is.
Well, the funny thing is, you are a fighter. You live your life as a fighter. Do anyone, all of you who are watching now, do you understand that fighters are putting their lives on the line, and what we get is entertainment? Yeah. Sometimes we steal that entertainment. Okay. And I understand not everybody are financially, secure and all those things. But what I'm saying is the support for a fighter first needs to be an appreciation for the life of a fighter. Can you just at least, this is a opportunity to let these viewers and boxing fans know, casual or pugilists, understand the life of a fighter. What do you go through as a fighter every day? Just training and everything.
I mean, it's definitely not for everyone, It can be lonely at times, but I think that goes along with anyone who's got, the desire and the will and the passion to, maybe see a dream that not many others see or understand. There's going to be a lot of, dreams only belong to one person at a time. So that's why they can be lonely. And it requires, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of dedication, because there's someone out there who's just as hungry as you, and hopefully not, but could be hungrier than you. So every moment that you're not studying your craft or working on your craft or putting yourself in position to, move further along in the journey that you're on, that means that somebody else out there is. Whatever you're not willing to do, there's someone else out there who is. So, that's the great thing about being an entrepreneur is, everything is within your power, everything and the things that aren't in your control. If you do the things that are in your control long enough, then the things that once weren't in your control will eventually be. So, it is a difficult sport. Not many people know what it's like, to get in there and, feed your family with these right here, to go, mano a mano against another man who's trying to take your head off in front of all those lights and cameras and crowds. And it definitely takes a special type of person to get in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, check this out. What you just said, how you just snuck this in there. You're talking about being motivated by someone who could potentially take your spot. Not even the guy standing in front of you. I got to spend every moment of my day at least thinking about some potential kid who's sparring right now with headgear, maybe an amateur who's gunning for your spot that you don't even know about. How do you stay motivated when you can't even always see the opponent? Like, how do you do that?
Just being mindful, in those moments where you maybe don't want to run or for, whatever out there your craft is, just being mindful and knowing that there is someone out there, and whatever you're not willing to do, that someone else out there is. And if you're not willing to do it long enough and they are willing to do it long enough, then, you're going to be out. And, a lot of boxers, usually have some type of special background and, where they're from or what they went through. And that can be a big motivating factor too, just, in the blink of an eye, you could be sent back there at any moment. And for you to live there the rest of your life, or maybe your woman or your wife to have to go through that, for your kids to have to go through what you went through. And for, specifically speaking, at least for, a lot of fighters, I know that's something that a lot of us don't want to go back to and don't want to have to endure, anymore. So that's also a big motivating factor, just almost the fear of having to go back to where you once were and where you once started.
Yeah. And you know what? It's so funny that you bring up, family, you bring up, motivation, inspiration, and using those things. I remember when you got the IBF title, you said that you, sadly, you buried your daughter in the process, and you promised that you were going to bring back the championship, and you did that. So think about how the pressure from every end. No, number one, you're dealing with a million heavy emotions, and you still had to do the job. And hold on, let me hit the Tyson bell for you on that one, man. You deserve that. People forget about that. Those are moments that people can't get over and do anything that affects them permanently. You somehow turned that into a driving point in your life, and you were able to succeed, brother. Like, I mean, come on now. How do people overlook those things?
I don't know. It's beyond me.
Yeah.
But that definitely, it was a huge motivating factor. It affected me, at least in that fight, for the most part in a positive way, but, in some way it affected me negatively. There was a lot of pressure in that fight. I had been out for a year with a broke hand, and we let Jose have a tune-up fight just to stay busy. And, just to come in after that layoff and with everyone saying what they were saying, I really hadn't had the chance to properly introduce myself and my boxing ability and just, my chin, my heart, all the attributes that come along with being a great fighter. I really hadn't had the chance to properly introduce myself. So, I was happy to do, most of that in that fight.
Yeah, well, you're introduced now, Plant. Yeah. You're a champion, a defending champion. You're here now. Okay, so, and we're going to talk about, just real quick, since we're talking about the life of a fighter, how about life after being a fighter? I have to bring him out because this guy has motivated me. I have to bring him up. Sweet Pea Parnell Whitaker. This is a guy who is a jewel to the sport, a legend. And to know how he passed away, he wasn't doing that well financially. You have this guy here, Michael Moore. He came out publicly and said he's not doing that well financially. I heard Errol the Truth Spence saying that, hey, look, man, I signed with Al Heyman, okay, in the PBC because not forget the check, but what he was advising me, just to how to take care of things outside of boxing. What say you about you, like you said, doing great things outside of boxing, becoming an entrepreneur, that approach? Do you have anything to say about that, about, you know, just making sure that your future is secure? Because when you retire, you're still going to be a young man, Caleb Plant.
Yeah, you know, that's always been a goal of mine. You know, a lot of people that I looked up to in boxing, you know, you see their years later on and see that they're not doing well. And that's just something that I always said that I didn't want to happen to myself. And then there was a lot of people that are outside of boxing that I've studied, and I've seen how well that they've done for themselves. And so, you know, you got to pay attention to the attention that pays you. So, you know, I'm always studying people. I study people.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. That needed a Tyson Bell.
Yeah, you got to pay attention to the attention that pays you. So, you know, just putting myself in position to do well after boxing. I just got my first rental property through the pandemic. You know, I raised my credit score up to 740 through the pandemic.
Let's go.
Refinanced our house through the pandemic. So, you know, I was still busy training and working out, but I was trying to put, you know, some of my focus in other areas too, since we had the downtime. And, you know, after this next fight, I'm looking to get another. And, you know, at some point here soon, get some commercial real estate as well. And, you know, Al, he's been a good motivating factor, you know, just always checking in with me, making sure I got my head on straight. And he's definitely one of my mentors. My grandfather, that's another mentor, a businessman of himself who worked himself into a great position. And my dad, you know, I've been blessed with some strong men in my life who have helped me keep my head on straight and
100.
just, you know, be motivated on make sure I'm doing the right thing and set myself up in a position to win. So
100%, man. That sounds great. And I hope a lot of our viewers kind of learn something about that, learn something about you. You're a living and breathing person. Okay. Not just somebody that you throw criticisms at a Facebook or Instagram or something like that. You out here working. So yeah, I applaud you. Now,
thank you.
We got to talk about the fun stuff.
All right.
Now, your style, man. When I look at you fight, I must say I was confused. I've been confused in a good way. I've been confused as a pugilist. I'm like, who is he? Is he James Toney or Roy Jones Jr.? Like, I'm talking about two totally different styles. Many people would say, man, I wish Roy Jones could have had a little bit more of James Toney about him. He wouldn't have that, you know, that end career that he had, but he whooped James Toney one-sidedly. And then I look at you having that. I promise you, I'm not sure if you did that on purpose in your sparring. It looked just like Roy Jones against James Toney. You even mixed up your hands a little bit before you landed that left hook. Everything was right. I saw that. I said, yo, I've seen that before. Yeah. But at the same time, you could plant your feet. You plant your feet. You move your shoulder an inch here, an inch there. You make them miss. You make them pay. You go to the body. You do all those things. Please, if you can describe your style, where you get that from, and who are your biggest influences?
Yeah, well, I think it just, you know, goes back to paying attention to the attention that pays you. And right now, the biggest thing for me is boxing. And I've been a student in this game since I was young, way young. And I've studied all the greats. You know, I've studied James Toney. I've stole things from James Toney. You know, Floyd Mayweather, Roy Jones, Hector Camacho, Terry Norris. Just you know, so many guys that I've taken bits and pieces from and went to the gym and just worked on over and over and over and over, just trying to, you know, add it to my arsenal and just, you know, trying to sharpen my tools. And, you know, boxing is a never ending process. So that's another reason to stay motivated is, you know, boxing is never ended. As soon as you get good at one thing, there's something else to work on. And, you know, I'm just trying to smooth those edges out as much as possible to be as well-rounded as possible. And I think you'll see if you look at my last couple of fights from the Jose fight to now, you know, especially my last fight, just, you know, I always added new things to my game. And I still am today. I study boxing every day for hours a day. There's so many things I study. I study coaches. I study Bill Belichick. I study Wayne Gretzky. I study Jordan, so many basketball players and football players. I study music artists. I mean, just as entrepreneurs, Elon Musk. There's just so many people I study every day, you know, just, I don't know. I just want to be a student, you know? And, but yeah, so those are some of the guys that I've really broke down and added some added some things to my game. I don't really know what style you'd say I have. But it's just Andre Ward. I'm a huge fan of Andre Ward. Just stealing bits and pieces and add them to my game each and every time.
Now, that's a good thing. Now, that's exactly why, just so all of my show business partners, all of you understand where I was going when I said this guy looks like he can be a future GOAT. It's the process, keeping your mind open, still willing to learn. You're never finished. You're never a finished product. So it is wonderful to hear you say those things. Hopefully, those are the things that people pay attention to, because you can implement that into your own life. Those are great things, and you're dropping some great jewels here. Now, we got to talk about the super middleweight division. Caleb Plant, when is it going to be your division? You got Callum Smith, who is the champion. Ranked number 1 is David Benavidez. Is he the WBC champion, or did he lose this? Who's the WBC champion, bro? Like, nobody.
Yeah.
You lost it again. Okay. And you're ranked number 2 by Ring Magazine, though you have a belt. David Benavidez don't. Does that get under your skin? Like, oh, let's talk about you. I'm sure you've been trying to fight David Benavidez for, I don't know, ever since I've known you. What's going on with that? Is there a hatred? Like, what's going on there? What's the beef between you and David Benavidez? And do you see you guys fighting anytime soon?
Well, I think it just started out as, the competitive nature between us. And, but just some, unnecessary things said from their side that really started to, just kind of let me know what type of people they are. When he won his fight against Ronald Graville and won the belt, I was standing at the bottom of the stairs at the Hard Rock because I fought the same night. Standing right at the bottom of the stairs. So before he even got to the bottom of the stairs, asking him, when we gonna get this going? We should fight. Let's get it going. And his manager Samson was like, no, we need to wait. And I even have a video on my social media of his promoter, Fred. I don't know if you guys know Fred. What's his last name? I can't think of it right now. But he's got a YouTube channel as well. He was interviewing Samson saying, we really want to see that fight. Can we get that fight this year? And his promoter was like, no, it needs to wait. And I don't know. In my head, it don't make sense to wait, because now, as you see, now he no longer has a title. I know everyone still wants to see that fight. I still want to see that fight.
Yeah, I want to see the fight, title or not. I want to see you two in the ring.
Yeah, and that's a fight that I want to make happen. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him and his team. But it really started to. I started to take it personal when they started to speak about my daughter and stuff. Saying that I use her. When I do mention that I'm using her to get famous or something like that. I don't know. That's just not really my style. I don't really think it's his place to be speaking on anybody's children, especially
100%.
Especially since, him and his kids seem to have enough issues as it is. Jose done got popped in his leg.
Yeah.
David with his issues, testing positive for cocaine and then getting an easy fight back and getting it handed to him. And then now he loses it on the scale. They got enough to worry about.
I'm sorry. Talk that, man. Go ahead.
About, what me and, energy doesn't die. It's only transfers. So she still lives through me.
Right.
So, he don't know what that's like. And most people don't know what that's like. And if him or his kids was ever in that position, they wouldn't even be here right now. They wouldn't even be doing what I'm doing. I would dare him to stand in my shoes for just a day to see what that feels like. Right. And, I don't wish that on no man. So for him to be, just hooting and hollering about whatever they were saying, I don't respect that. And that's personal to me. So if after that you think that I wouldn't want to fight somebody and get my hands on them, you guys are crazy. But that was between him and his promoter saying no. And now he done lost his belt. So, I don't know what's next.
Well, hold on. Are they ducking you, Caleb?
I mean, I don't know. All I know is what I seen his promoter say on the video, which is we're not going to have that fight right now. It needs to wait so that they can make more money and blah, 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 blah. But, you wait around too long and then you get situations like we have now. And that's why I was wanting to fight, because I could just tell from the first time that he lost his belt, that this is going to be an ongoing thing. He's got a discipline problem and, it popped up again. So, I don't really want to keep talking about it, but, I don't know the situation. Okay. And I don't know what they're going to do next. I'm my promoter. Right. I'm advised by Al Heyman, but I've started my own promotion company.
100%.
I have a very, tight relationship with Al, and but for him and his, I don't know what they got going on.
Well, you know what? Respect. You said what you had to say. I'm not going to throw out that he's ducking me. And you know what, man? There's you talking about it right now isn't going to make the fight materialize. It has taken a step back. Respect, bro. Now, here's the thing. Then you should be ranked number 1.
I am ranked number 1. I don't care what the stats say. I don't care what they say. Callum Smith got beat by John Ryder. His fans was booing him in his hometown, and I'm not even hating on Callum Smith because he seems as a man and as a person, level head on his shoulders. It seems like he got a good team around him, but there is some holes in his game, and I think that was kind of exposed with the John Ryder fight. I think we were just talking about the other one, and so I feel like that I feel like I'm the best at 168 right now, and anybody who thinks different, they're gonna have to show me because I don't believe them.
Mac, let's go. Price and bail. All right, man, look at this. Demetrius Andrade is stepping into your division. Now, when it was announced that he was taking on Dusty Harrison, I'm not sure how you feel. I'd like to get this from you, but Dusty Harrison can fight. From what I saw, the guy got like almost 200 amateur fights. He had a good start coming out. He was a widow guy, right? Fighting at welterweight, but then his last fight was at light heavyweight. He knocked the guy down with the jab. But Dusty Harrison, he can fight. I remember Andre Ward saying that he can fight when he was first kind of jumping into the scene. I'm thinking, okay, man, that could be a rough little fight for Demetrius Andrade, but he's stepping into your waters now. Now he's at 168. Everybody seemed to be avoiding Boo Boo Andrade. At least that's what it appears, and that's what the critics are saying. Me, I'm not sure who's avoiding who. I don't really like throwing that around that much, not on this channel, because there's business. There's many different reasons why fights doesn't happen. But with that said, do you think Andre can get that smoke too? I mean, like you said, I'm not sure what's next for you.
I think that would be a difficult fight to make, not because of either one of us, but you just said there takes many things to make a fight. And with him being on, a different network under, different people, he would have to build himself up to be a superstar. And, I'm on my way, but I'm going to have to continue to do what I'm doing thus far. And, so I don't know if that fight would ever materialize. I know that he's starting to get a little bit older. Boo Boo is a great fighter. I've actually been in camp with Boo Boo twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we've gotten a lot of sparring in, and he knows how good I am. Yeah, he knows I'm good, and he's a good fighter as well. So, it's not out of the question. But with the different networks, it wouldn't really be up to what we said until we both put ourselves in a superstar position.
And I like how you included yourself. Hey, look, man, I need to put myself in a superstar position. That's dope, man. I mean, you're a humble guy, and that's really sick. I hope everybody can notice that. Now, I want to talk about this though, because I had a lot of my subscribers asking me to bring this up, and I will not fail you guys. But I want to speak my piece first. I don't want to see you versus CANELO right now. I don't. Why? Because I want to see more from you, as far as I do want to see you, David Benavidez, you, Callum Smith, stuff like that. I kind of want to see what's going on in the super middleweight division right now. Right now, Canelo Alvarez, he's ranked down there like 4 or 5. Canelo, he's going up and down and stuff like that. I can see Canelo against another light heavyweight, but a BF or whatever. But people do want to know, do you have Canelo in your line of sight as a potential fight?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. That Canelo is something that I've vocalized before that I want to fight. It's somebody that I still really, really want to fight. And, that's a fight that I know I can win in my heart. I truly believe that. And nobody can convince me otherwise. I truly believe that.
Now, I'm not sure how long you watch this channel. Like you say, you're kind of familiar with the channel. I've said this consistently. All of my subscribers heard me say it. I said a slick fighter like Caleb Plant can be a problem. And I said, I don't know who will win between Plant and Canelo. Even with, Canelo having so much experience, I said, look, I saw him against Lara struggle. I saw him struggle against Floyd Mayweather. When I think of somebody that could be a nightmare for him, or 168-pound slick fighter, I think that can be a problem. So I can understand where your confidence is coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not just blowing smoke. That's something I don't like to blow smoke. I don't like to be dramatic, over, under. I like to be a straight shooter because when I say something, I want it to mean something. And I truly know in my heart, Canelo is someone that I'll get my hand raised when I fight.
Let's
Now,
go.
I fought back in February 15th. And then afterwards, I think there's been a bit of a confusion on, there's been talks of me and Canelo before here back in February. And, they wanted me to fight May 2nd. And I had just fought February 15th. So that's 2 weeks of February and then March and then, half of April and then tapering off.
Then it's on.
Fight May 2nd, and anyone who knows me or follows me on social media, they know that I train year round, but I'm training at a certain level year round. They know I don't cut corners. They know my discipline. They know how hard I work. And, when you do a 5 or 6 week pre-camp and then an 8-week camp, and then even before pre-camp, working as hard as I'm working now, after I fight, I'm going home.
Yeah.
I'm going home to rest. I'm going to see my family. Family is important to me, is big to me. I'm going home to rest. And people say, oh, well, he said he needed a rest from the fight. He don't need a rest from the fight. I never said I needed a rest from the fight. What I said is I need a rest from training camp. All the sprints, all the miles, all the bag work, all those things. Those are things that you have to rest from. And maybe you guys feel like, you don't need to rest from it, but that's because you don't do it. You tune in and watch us do it. So.
God, give me the Tyson bell. Yeah.
Then they go on and they say, well, Andy Ruiz did it. But that wound up being a fluke anyways because that didn't last long. And secondly, Andy Ruiz was not a world champion. I have solidified myself as a world-class fighter, and I demand world-class respect. And I'm not going to let him and his team or, millions of people at home convince me otherwise. You get all these fans saying, like, oh, all these fighters these days, they just do it for the money. They just in it for the money. But then for one, they never even sent me an offer. They never sent me a contract, and they never sent me even money offer. I didn't turn down money because I asked for more money. I wouldn't price myself out. I don't need to price myself out because after I beat him, the price after that, so I don't need to price myself out. But they just said if we would fight in May, and we said no, and that's all that there was. Nothing ever materialized. There was no contract sent. There was no offer sent, and it wouldn't matter who they fight or who would have offered me. I'm a world-class fighter. I demand world-class respect.
Well, hold on. They brought up Andy Ruiz, but did anyone bring up Kovalev when Kovalev had that short turnaround? He got knocked right out. Anybody bring up Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder when he had that short turnaround after Ortiz? He didn't look like Wilder. Tyson Fury, he won fair and square. Not taking anything from Tyson Fury. He had a great game plan, and I say that he beat Deontay Wilder. But with that said, Deontay Wilder, his legs weren't there round 2.
Yeah.
Okay? So
and then they say things like, back in the day, they used to fight X amount of times. Well, then I'm wondering why they don't do that no more. Because if it was working that day, we'd still be doing it. But it don't work like that anymore.
Hold on.
So, people are always going to try to pressure you into, rushing. They're going to stand around us in a circle and try to ag us on and get us worked up. But I know boxing. Like I said before, I've studied this game inside out and backwards. So, there's going to be no one that can convince me of how this game works because I already know how it works.
That's what I'm saying, my man, Caleb Plant. Now we're going to have like 2 more questions before we round this out. And thank you so much for the interview, brother, and spending your time. I mean, this was extremely excellent. We got to talk about tomorrow. When you say you've studied boxing, let me know if you can. What do you think about Lomachenko versus Lopez tomorrow? I know that's a great fight. What do you think? What do you think going to happen? I'm not sure if I want to ask you who you think is going to win or whatever, but whatever statement you have to say or any insight, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, that is a tough one. I'll tell you who I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for T.O.
Okay.
And that's simply because I know him personally. I am a big fan of Lomachenko. I love his boxing skill. I love the relationship that him and his father have. It's a lot like me and mine. It's hard to bet against T.O., he's got a lot of explosiveness, a lot of power. I think he's got a lot of underrated boxing IQ and boxing ability that
100%.
just haven't got to be able to see yet. There hasn't been someone to bring that out of him yet. But I think it's going to be a great fight. I definitely think it's one to tune into. I think at some point somebody's going to hit the canvas.
Yeah.
But I think that's a great fight. It's a great fight for boxing. I'm not sure if it's too early for T.O. I don't, that's not up to us. It's not up to me. That's for him, to go out and show the world. A lot of people thought that it was too early for me to fight Jose with 17 fights. And especially, with everything he was doing at that time. And, I just had to properly introduce myself. So this may be the fight for T.O. where he, shows the world who he is.
100%. And if he wins, I mean, wow, right? If he loses, it's okay. It's still wow. You're fighting for undisputed against Lomachenko, ranked top 3 pound for pound, depending on what list you're looking at in the world. He's only 22, 23 years old. This already is a huge deal. So, either way, it's a victory, and it's a victory for the fans to even have this fight. These are the type of fights that people just can't make usually. So this is fantastic. One last question I have for you for the fans. What's next for Caleb Plant? Now, I know people are still they're talking about, hey, is Caleb Plant going to move up? What's going to happen? What's next for Caleb Plant, just for your fans?
Well, there is a name or two floating around, and I've agreed. I'm on board. I'm ready to go. And, all they have to do is say, yeah. So, it's going to be in the first part of next year. But I'm hoping as much as y'all do that they say, yeah, I think it'll be a great fight. I think it'll be a fight that fans are excited about. And, yeah. So, and as for me moving up, I'm not moving up anytime soon. I'm disciplined all year round. I make the way easy. And I'm going to be here for all these middleweights that are champions now and top contenders, and I'm going to be here when all the middleweights move up. So any of the middleweights that move up to super middleweight, I'll be here waiting on them.
Let's go. You go ahead. You own that super middleweight division. Any plugs you want as far as your Instagram, Facebook, or anything that you want to plug, man, or your business or anything you want to plug? This is the platform to do it before we sign off.
Yeah, just, anybody wanting to follow me is Caleb Plant on Instagram. And, just stay tuned because we're working on some big stuff. So,
man, much love to you. Thank you for showing up. ShowBizz, little dope, my man, Caleb Plant. I'm out. Huh.